Welcome to the second video in Algebra 2 for trigonometric functions. In this video we're going to be highlighting cosine functions. Alright, so this is what the basic parent function of cosine trig function looks like. And just like with sine, I want to relate it to our unit circle that you've memorized. Let's take a look at that first point. If you look at the point in theta 0, the cosine, now recall that cosine x or cosine theta equals x and sine theta equals y. So cosine theta, which is x, the value of x at 0 is 1, and that's why you have that point up there on the top left. So my x-coordinate, which is cosine theta, is 1 at 0 degrees. And then if I go to 90 degrees, you'll notice that cosine, my x value, is now 0, so it goes down to the line. And then I'm going to go to 180 degrees. 180 degrees is -1 for cosine. And again, just like with the sine graph, look at how I've highlighted that line representing this segment of the unit circle and the segment in my function. Those points, that line represents the exact same points that my unit circle coordinate points represented. Okay, so now if I go to the 270 degree, at 270 degrees, my cosine equals 0, so I'm going back up. And then at 360 degrees, my cosine again equals 1, completing my full period or completing my full cycle. Now, one of the ways that you can recognize a period or a cycle is by looking at the graph, looking at the function, and just notice the pattern. So this is just a simple case of pattern recognition. Notice where the pattern will begin to repeat itself, and at this point, it's repeating the same direction that the original point at my one point on the far left equals. Okay, so this is the parent function, y equals a cosine b theta, just like our sine one. A representing the amplitude, and then again b is used to find our period. All right, so if I want to find where my function will cross my x-axis or my x-intercepts, I want to find what the value of b is. And then I can use this at the bottom left-hand side. You'll notice that I have two coordinate points. This is how I find these coordinate points. Now they differ from my sine. My sine is half times 360 over b, and then the other coordinate point is 360 over b, 0. And then of course my first point would be 0, 0 on my sine. But anyways, my cosine, this is how I look for it, because I'm looking for where my cosine crosses the x-axis, and it crosses it at 2 points. It crosses it at halfway, a fourth of the way through the unit circle, and then 3/4 of the way of the unit circle. Okay, so my b, okay, that's for my x-intercepts. So let's see how this works when I graph this particular equation. Y equals cosine 4 theta. Now you'll notice that my a is, there's no a, so that means there's an assumed 1 coefficient, so that means that my amplitude is 1, so I don't have to change that. Now you'll notice that for my b term, there's a 4. So then I'm going to take that 4 and I'm going to apply that to my coordinate equation. And you'll see there that, here, let me back up. Notice that when I put that 4 at the bottom left, 360 over 4 times 1/4. So 4 over 4 will be 16, and then 1 times 360 is 360, and then that's what I have left there. And then on the other side I have 360 divided by times 3, and then on the denominator 4 times 4, giving me this. So I'm going to simplify this, and I end up with 22.5 and 67.5. Now, so this is my these are my x-intercepts, and if you'll notice my graph on the left-hand side there, my graph is scaled for a period of 360. So this scale is not going to work. I'm going to have to rescale it. So I want to figure out what my full period is. Okay, my full period. Yeah, so this is not adequate. I need to change that. I need to adjust my coordinate plane. So let's find out what my full period is. And to find the period of a cosine graph, it's 360 divided by the absolute value of b. And my b is 4. Okay, this would complete my cycle. My b is 4, so then my full period is 90. It's usually 360, but in this case, for this particular function, it's 90. So then I adjust my graph, my full period is 90. So that means I have to now adjust my other increments to fit where my x-intercepts are. So my first one, as I mentioned earlier, is at 22.5, and then my second is at 67.5. So that means that my lowest point will be in the middle of that. So there's my first point, because if I go to 0 theta, 0 degrees, my point is 1. And then of course that's my x-intercept like I already discovered. And then my lowest one would be that point in the middle. And then my next one. And then of course my last would represent my full period, so it's at the same location as my very first point. And that's it. Those are my points. That's how I figure out the points on my graph, and now I can just connect my dots, and there I have this is the function for the equation y equals a cosine 4 theta, or 1 cosine 4 theta. Okay, so I hope this was helpful in knowing how to draw a cosine graph. We'll work more examples in class, but this is the essence of what we're doing here, okay? All right, thanks for watching and listening, and good luck in your studying.